What up, YouTube? I'm Topaz Yates, and I got a pretty good show lined up for you today, man. First, we're going to go into some industry news because the Billboard chart just dropped. Then we're going to review this Run the Jewels EP that just dropped. And then we're going to do an article, man. But before that, let's listen to a brief instrumental from underground producer Mosley. So Tyler the Creator came in overall number 4 on the Billboard chart, selling just over 50,000 units. And you know, that's what's up, man. I mean, you want to look at anybody else who debuted this week, you gotta go all the way down to the 26th spot. With over 18,000 units sold, man, you got Young Thug, in which, wow, that was really fucking low. I think they tried to cover it up saying that this Barter 6 was a mixtape and shit, but it was for sale and it didn't do well. But anyway, on to today's review, and it's to that Run the Jewels Blockbuster Night Part 2, the EP. And you know, when I first saw this come about, I kind of got hyped for it because Blockbuster Night was one of my favorite songs off the last joint that just dropped. I was thinking if they spun off on that, man, they could have definitely made a dope-ass EP here, but sadly not so. Really, the only song on here that I really fucked with was that Pew 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 because it had that energy that Blockbuster Night, the original, had, in which I feel as though that's what these guys, LP and Killer Mike, does best. Besides that, man, a few subpar joints like that Bust No Moves and that Blockbuster Night Part 2, which, as I said, I was excited for that to begin with, but it definitely disappointed on every level. And then they included Love Again on this joint. And for those who don't know, Love Again was on the last one, in which it wasn't even a great song, and I hate it when people do this shit, man. It's what I like to call the Pastor Troy, because he pretty much trademarked this shit, taking one song that was on another project and put it on every project going down the line as if his fan base never heard of that shit, and it just ends up being just a wasted slide. And I personally would rather have all new original music instead of you taking bits and pieces of old shit and try to pawn it off as something new. In which we are 2 albums and a half into this Run the Jewels experiment somewhat, in which it's been very damn successful, especially even when they did the Meow the Jewels and shit. So therefore, these guys are here to stay, and you can tell they're gonna continue to dish out music, man, but it's time to start to hear what they got next, you dig? Because I like the style, but there comes a point where it's like, okay, let's try to move on, let's try to do something different, let's try to progress instead of continue to kick out the same shit. Overall, I give this EP, man, a 6 out of 10. But anyway, on to today's article from downloadpass.com, and today's article is about the hypocrite game, in which I posed this question a while ago, in which people really didn't respond to it, and it's a very important fucking question, so I'm bringing it up again in its own damn article. Why is there so many black people worried about being labeled a hypocrite by the biggest hypocrites in the world? And I'm not making this shit up, my dude. They are the biggest hypocrites because you see them like, we're going to go and police the world. They're still trying to do this shit. But how are they policing us in their own fucking country? How many of us gotta get shot being unarmed for traffic stops, running away? How many times must this happen? How many times are they gonna let killer ass cops get away with the bullshit that they do, and then they gonna try to say they gonna police the fucking world? Like, how many politicians got caught up in like some gay scandals and shit, but yet these are the same people that's voting down any gay rights and shit? Here's a specific example, man. Dude named Marco Rubio, if you heard of him, senator and shit. This guy has been hell-bent on dismantling Obamacare from the fucking beginning, you did, but yet this motherfucker is signed up for Obamacare. You got a bunch of people out here saying they want to cut all of this entitlement and all of this bullshit, man, but yet they get Medicaid, but yet they get government subsidies and shit for their farms. You see all of this shit, how hypocritical these people are, and you worried about them labeling you a hypocrite. Dudes are so worried about being labeled a hypocrite, you try to not go after the things that we desperately need as a fucking people, which is dismantling the white supremacist power structure that we have in place instead of a law of fucking justice. But yet you guys fear going after the root cause so damn much that you just go along with this bullshit. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpass.com, that's down there, to read today's article.